And if Satan cast out Satan, giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Kakwadash. This is from Matthews 12, verse 26. I'm going to read Matthews 12, verse 26. Also Mark 3, verse 26. And Luke 11, verse 18. And I'm going to go to this article because this is going to stir up Satan against Satan. When I say Satan against Satan, I'm talking about this physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. You hear? Anyway, so let's read. Matthew 12, verse 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom, singular, stand? And Esau, this is what we got to watch. This is how we know that this man's going down, because they're divided against each other. And this is the tactic that Esau uses against Jake. So Esau is against Esau. If I can put some names to it, the Republicans versus the Democrats. Republicans hate Democrats. Democrats, I'm talking about Esau, among Esau. And then you got these bird brain ass Negroes that take the sides of whether it's Republican or Democrat, whether it's patriotic versus liberals, whatever labels you want to put on it. This is not your fight. You see this man's going down. You see this man's divided. So why are you in the midst of it? Just stand back and watch. You dumb motherfucker. Mark 3, verse 26. And this just came to mind, the situation with IUIC and ISUPK. We would never roll up on no camp on a physical zone to try to bully somebody off of the street. That was totally not of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And they should apologize for that. And IUIC, they got riled up in the spirit too. They should have just said, open up Matthews 10, start from the 5th verse, couple of verses down. It says, shake the dust off from your feet. You could have moved on, But and that's what Esau wants. He said, "Oh yeah, Israel going against Israel." No. You ain't supposed to be going against Israel like that. If you're going against Israel, you're supposed to be going against Israel when it comes to the scriptures. Okay. It also said in Matthew 10, we are sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye wise as serpents and harmless as a dove. We are the sheep. We are the sheep. We are the vulnerable ones. Esau could grab us up. Go back to the history of the apostles. When the Romans sentenced Peter to death, there was nothing Israelites could do about it. When they sentenced Paul to death, there was nothing Israelites could do about it. When Titus laid siege to Jerusalem, Israel was trying to fight, but they fought a losing battle because that was Esau's time. Now, during that time period, you had different factions of Israelites that had different groups, and they were fighting against each other. They were killing each other. See that? That camp going against other camp, bang on that camp, banging level shouldn't happen. Now, if you go head to head with the scriptures, that's one thing. And that was very carnal. But this is what Esau is doing. Esau is split in the middle. Esau is split in the middle. Like I said earlier in this video, Republicans can't stand Democrats. Democrats can't stand Republicans. It's a split down the middle. And that's been going on in previous presidential elections. It's always, they had to do a recount. They had to count we don't know. I remember back in the day, the president was declared that night, you know, November, was it 6th or the first Tuesday of November of every election year. You would find out who the president is that night. Oh, we got to do some recounts and some mail-in, blah, blah, blah. So Esau is split down the middle. So really you should stand back and watch. It says here in Mark 3, verse 26, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. But hath an end. This is how we know that this man, the defeat of it in Daniel 2, you can start the 40th verse and read down. That's talking about right now. That's talking about NATO and the EU. Actually, the EU represented the toes of it. So we're definitely in that time. Luke 11 verse 18, if Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because ye say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub, and they were close to blaspheming the Holy Spirit, which they really did. But because they're Israelites, they're going to ultimately be saved, but they're not going to be delivered. Anyway, the reason why I brought those scriptures out, where is it? Okay, right here. Somebody had sent me put a comment in the latest video that I did on the UFOs, and I said, well, let me go look it up, and it took me to Forbes magazine, and this is what it said. As a matter of fact, you know what? Okay, I went there. Now let me just read the article. Anyway, it says, and the individual that sent me that put the comment in the latest video that I did, he said that they're about to go up to the Supreme Court, and they're going to argue as to whether police can come into your house without a warrant to seize your guns. And that's really going to affect Esau. It will affect Jake, but Esau is going to be the one that's going to be affected by it. Because when you have police, local law enforcement, the sheriff department, and they go to an Edomite, a patriotic, Republican, MAGA type Edomite, they're going to be ready for him. See, Jake would just put it, Jake knows that it's going to happen, so Jake is not going to have it, and Jake is going to say, look, we ain't going to have no guns in the house. If anything, Jake will have it someplace else. Esau is about, man, I remember years ago, I was working at this Edomite I was kind of cool with, this was years ago, and he took me to his house, and as soon as I went in the house, he had a rack with about 12 rifles, and this dude had he had 9 million. He was like, it was like he had 9 million. He showed me all his guns. I mean, this guy he can have 20 people in there and give each and every one of them a firearm. And he cleaned the guns and all that, man. This Edomite, the spirit set it up that way. The first thing he said, let me show you all the guns I got, this I got. So now with Esau, especially in middle America, the Bible Belt, down south, the patriarchs, they're not having it, man. They're not having it. So if the Supreme Court is in favor of this, there's going to be a lot of shootouts going on in this country. And it's going to dig this country into a deeper hole. This man is done. All right. Anyway, it says here, Biden, if I remember, I'll leave it in the description box. But if I don't, all you got to do is put in Biden administration urges Supreme Court to let cops enter homes and seize guns without a warrant. And this is during the Biden administration. And that's as you can see, that's the headline. Let me read a little bit more. It says the U.S. Supreme Court on Wednesday will hear oral argument in Conaglia versus Strum, a case that could have sweeping consequences for policing, due process, and mental health. Now, they're going to use, you have Edomites and Jake that have fought in previous wars, and their thing is, we're American heroes, so they should have their guns. But the way they're going to get around that is because of mental health issues. And every military man and woman, to some degree, have some form of mental health because mental health issues because you've been out in war, man. You used to sleeping out in the field. You used to hearing gunshots. You can be in a deep sleep, and if you're under attack, you got to get up. So that wears on the mind. So every military man has some form of a mental health issue. It says due process and mental health with the Biden administration and attorney generals from 9 states urging the High Court, which is the Supreme Court, to uphold warrantless gun confiscation, but what would ultimately become a major Fourth Amendment case began with an elderly couple spat over a coffee mug, and that's a whole different story. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. With that, I'm going to say shalom.